Hi everybody, this is Janet again. I'm going to tell you the story of this nightstand that I picked up from a woman who was selling it for 25 bucks, and it was beautiful. After cleaning it, I found out it was really beautiful wood. It was sturdy, and I think it was cherry. I'm not sure. I'm really still not sure how to tell which wood is which. What I did know is that it was beautiful, and when I got it home, I saw that it had a lot of stains. It had, especially to the top, she had started to refinish it. And even after oxalic acid, it had coffee rings and some oil stains there. And I scrubbed it as much as I could with TSP. It had these beautiful details, but because it was finished with the penetrating stain, that I knew it wouldn't come off easily. It would involve a lot of detail work. Anyway, I had to decide what to do with this piece. I liked its style. It seemed sturdy. Someone used a little air freshener at the bottom. Anyway, I was pretty sure that the fixtures were solid brass, and they were heavy and beautiful. It had a French Rococo style, or some people call it Louis XV style. I went right to work and started scraping this. I did this with a time lapse, and now I realize it just looks like I shake all the time. But I didn't want to put you through an hour of seeing me scrape with my detail scraper. I had to go in and just take off all of that penetrating stain and all of the varnish from inside of those detailed corners. After 2 coats of oxalic acid, I got to take off most of the stains on the top, and with the detail scraper was able to take off most of the penetrating stain. It still had a few nooks and crannies that were stained, but I thought I'm just going to go in, and I used this Varathane wood conditioner. First, because I've finished pieces of wood like this before. So I started with this wood conditioner, and as soon as I was finished, I could see this is probably one of the prettiest pieces of furniture that I would ever refinish. Mario saw it and said, "Oh, please don't paint it," because he knew I was thinking about painting it like Rococo style. So I had to think about it. Until then, I put the fixture into a little bath of kosher salt water and regular vinegar. I know people use extra strength furniture vinegar, but I just use the regular kind that you cook with. Screws and all, I threw it in there for 15 minutes. Afterwards, I took a wire brush and started scrubbing it out of the nooks and crannies. I used this Barkeep's Friend, and this is the first round. I would do one more round with the Barkeeper's Friend cleanser and a toothbrush. Then I took an old American walnut stain and sealer and finished the top. And you can see that I did this because I wasn't sure how it was going to take just a normal stain and sealer. This one's heavy duty. And I was very glad to see that the former stains were not shining through. I did decide to paint this. Tried to tape it up, and oh my gosh, it was like herding cats. There was too much of the wood was so deeply conditioned that it wasn't holding the tape. So here I am doing the, I started off with a primer, just a Kills primer. And the more I painted, the more I realized that bottom layer, I didn't want to paint it. So I sanded off the primer that got on there and then scraped it off just to make sure. And I knew that I would finish it with the same walnut seal. Now it was ready for more of that walnut seal and then the paint. Getting into those nooks and crannies was hard with this piece. I also found out that even with the tape, I still had to go along the top and cut in. And what I found out was that top right there had been so beautifully sealed by that wood conditioner that it was now kind of repelling this, even the primer. So I had to do this a couple of times. Each time that I did get a little bit of primer on the lip that I did not want to prime, I would have to go in with that detail scraper and make adjustments. I used Bear Dynasty color. One of them is a Baywater, the other one an antique white or an off-white. I have somehow lost the taping videos, but this is what it looked like after the first round. And guess what? I found out that this paint, it didn't really, I needed to sand after the first coat of paint because it was, the wood isn't as smooth as I thought it was. So I had to do paint, sand, paint, sand, paint, sand to every portion of this piece. Also, the gold paint, because it is this detailed, you wouldn't know it, but just to adhere to this portion, see, I wanted it all through that where the top meets that Rococo flipping detailed curve. I wanted it in that crook, in that nook and cranny, and to do that, it had to be done with these dots. So this took about 3 times through with gold paint. And getting it in the nook and cranny of this was, by comparison, easier, but I knew I'd have to go over with the paint again just to make it look more uniform. By comparison, the wood details, the appliques, if you will, the wood appliques were easier to do because all you had to do was paint the surface of them gold. I was going to do a little bit of black detail in these leaves, but I decided not to because I realized I had never refinished a Rococo piece of furniture before. Waterlock's original tongue oil finish with rosin, rosin modified, is worth every penny. I will never be able to sing the praises of this product enough. I used it on the beautiful wood, and it did not disappoint. It refinishes furniture and restores it to the original beauty, maybe even better than the original beauty, like no other product. It's safe. It can be used around animals and in long skirts after a day of work. Here I am doing the last layer with a foam brush just to make sure that every little bit of this is covered. The wood was pretty thirsty. Ready for this reveal? Here we go. I'm listing it right now because as much as I love this piece of furniture, I don't have room for it in my house. There's the dovetails. They're so beautiful. I love this piece of furniture. Whoever made it, hats off to you. And every little bit of it had love and prayer attached to it. Thank you so much for watching.